Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Tobago Updates live stream coming from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. This evening, we will be covering the Tobago Youth Council presidential discourse. And through these discussions, each presidential candidate will have the pleasure of proving to our viewers, listeners, and most importantly, the voters, if or if not, it's giving president. Now, to everyone joining us, I want to thank you so much. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. And I just want you all to sit back, relax, and enjoy this 1 hour segment titled It's Giving President. Now, I'm your host, Luke Trim, and I have the absolute pleasure of being your host for this evening's proceedings. Now, we have 3 presidential candidates, and I think it's only fair that we show you all the videos we have received thus far. So sit back, relax, and like I said, just enjoy.
I am Delano Jufri, your candidate for the position of President and General Secretary in the upcoming Tobago Youth Council elections. My experience in youth development on the island of Tobago. Well, I have been a part of youth development for as long as I can remember. The President is more than just the face of the organization. He or she and their ability to lead has the power to determine the trajectory and the level of productivity that the organization achieves throughout the term. The General Secretary is of equal importance. It is said that he or she is the backbone, keeping everything together and holding the ship that is the organization above water. Once elected, and with your help, I intend to collaborate with the Tobago House of Assembly and educational institutions, where the Sustainable Development Goal 4 will be the focus for educational reform and the destigmatization of vocational skills. To educate member organizations and community stakeholders on peace resolution and civic mindedness, utilizing Sustainable Development Goal 16 in our communities, creating a peaceful Tobago for all. Our island's youth by making available mentorship programs, seminars, and training opportunities for the young people through partnerships with member organizations, both regional and international, private sector, and the government. At this point in time, we are called to not only elect persons who can speak, but those who are willing to put their feet on the ground and charter the course to youth development on the island of Tobago. A strong team deserves a strong, competent, connected leader. So it is on this ground that I, Delano Jofield, put forward myself for the position of President and General Secretary of the Tobago Youth Council.
Delano is the right man. Right man?
The right man.
Right man.
On February 8th, vote Delano Jofield for the position of President or General Secretary of the Tobago Youth Council. Right man, right time.
What motivates and drives me? Being able to contribute meaningfully to youth and youth development. Some may wonder, why me and why now? But why not me and why not now? It has always been said to be the change that you want to see. And today, I offer myself because I understand that I am able to use my talents, my skills, and my influence to create opportunities for youth in Tobago, where they can meaningfully contribute to the socio-economic development of this island. through utilizing their creativity and skills, thus providing an environment where we can hone these skills and unleash their fullest potentials. From university graduates to school dropouts, I would ensure that programs are created which targets young people from all walks of life, placing emphasis on the most vulnerable in our society. Indeed, all of us can contribute to building a better society. It is my hope, once elected, that I am able to utilize the influence, creativity, and skills that I have, making the Tobago Youth Council a formidable force, ensuring that youth representation, youth participation, and youth engagement is not only a conversation, but a priority and a force to be reckoned with in this nation. So, on February 8, 2023, when you cast your votes, ensure that it's for the Tobago Youth Council to become bigger and bolder with Holder.
All right, we're back and it's giving president. So viewers and listeners, that were the videos that we received thus far. And for this afternoon's proceeding, I want to just inform you all that we have three presidential candidates. They are Delano Jofield, Darian Mitchell, and Alia Holder. But before we get into the fun of everything, I just need to put out that disclaimer that one of our presidential candidates, that is Miss Alia Holder, unfortunately was not able to join us tonight due to medical reasons. So just remember her in your thoughts and prayers as she remedies her entire situation. Now it's time for us to catch a vibe. Now we're going to bring on our two candidates, that is Delano Jofield and Darian Mitchell. Delano, are you hearing me?
Me.
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear, Delano. Darian, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm okay. Quiet, can't really complain.
Great. And it would be great to start off tonight with some introductions. Let us know who you are, what you stand for. Give us a taste of your personality. So in 2 minutes or less, just tell our viewers and listeners who you are and what you're all about. And Darian, I think we need to start with you because we didn't get a video from you. So this is your opportunity, Darian, to tell everybody who is Darian Mitchell.
All right. Thank you for having me, first of all. Good night to all of the listeners, those in the studio, and those who will be looking at the live afterwards. My name is Darian Mitchell. I'm from the village of Lambo. I currently have a BSc in Geography and an MSc in Biodiversity Conservation and Sustainable Development. Now, throughout my tenure, I would have actually begun my youth work through the University of the West Indies, where I would have begun my post as the Milner Hall chairperson. I then moved up to the postgraduate president in the Guild of Students, after which I decided Trinidad and Tobago Youth Ambassador as vice president. And now I'm currently the vice president of the Tobago Youth Council. So I'm no stranger to the world of youth work, and I would have served in various capacities on a local level as well as a regional level, because at the University of the West Indies, we not only represent the St. Augustine campus or the Trinidadian students or the Tobagonian students, regionally, internationally, as well as Barbados, Jamaica, open campus. So to me, this is just something that I really want to do, because I would have been away for a while. And upon my return, the first thing I went to was the Tobago Youth Council. So I actually began in the capacity of vice president, so I could shadow the president of the role of the president before actually moving forward to the position of president.
It's giving president. Delano, what about you? Tell our viewers and listeners who you are and what you are about in 2 minutes or less.
All right. Good night, everyone. You hearing me, right?
It's hearing you loud and clear.
Okay, right. Good night, Luke. Good night, my fellow candidate. Good night, Trinidad and Tobago. Good night, Tobago youth. My name is Delano Jofield. As I said before, your son of the soil. I am 21 years old. I graduated from Bishop's High School, Tobago, not yet at the university, soon to be there. But I'm no stranger to youth work. I've been a part of the Bishop's High School Student Council from first form. I was actually told the other day that I was the youngest person ever to be elected on the executive just at first form. Yeah, so that is basically where my journey began and my love for youth work. began in the halls of Bishop's High School, and then moving from there into the Tobago Youth Assembly, where I had the opportunity to serve as the youth speaker for 2020 to 2021. And most times people think of the speaker as just somebody who is there to oversee what happens during the sittings of the house, but I thought that I could use that position of influence to do stuff in the Tobago youth space when it comes to youth development. And so I was able to partner with different youth area representatives to give back. And I was able to partner with specifically, at that time, Youth Assemblyman Jisha Digans to do the men's talk session in the area of Cane and Bonaccord, which was a huge success. I have a love for law. I love for politics. I can sing. I've been a part, as I said before, I've been a part of youth work for as long as I can remember. Once you hear or know about youth work in Tobago, you know about Delano Drewfield. And I would have offered myself here now to basically, excuse me, let me just take a drink of water. To basically touch more lives and do more work. Although I would have done many things in my capacity as the youth speaker, even on the interim executive for the Tobago Youth Council. I'm a part of the Signal Hill interim executive for the Signal Hill Community Council. Sorry, I'm a part of the Signal Hill Police Youth Club. I'm a part of the Phoenix Society, and even being a part of those organizations and doing stuff, I still believe that there is more to be done. And I just want to put this out there that at first I was not a big fan of positions, because I realized that there are things that I can do that I don't need a position for. But I was humbled enough to understand that there are things that can be done only when you're in certain positions. So that is why I offered myself here today. So that's my little introduction. Luke, I hope I stayed within the 2 minutes.
Yes, you did. And you would have answered my second question. My second question was, what does the Tobago Youth Council mean to you? And what was the driving force behind you offering yourself for president? And Delano, you would have just told us what was the driving force. So tell us, what does the Tobago Youth Council mean to you?
All right. So the Tobago Youth Council is an umbrella organization in the general sense. And to me, it is an opportunity to utilize youth organizations to charter youth development on the island of Tobago on a bigger scale. Most times when we think about youth development,
All right, viewers, so we seem to be experiencing some technical difficulties with Delano. So until he comes back, we're going to switch over to Darian. Darian, what does the Tobago Youth Council mean to you? And what was the driving force behind you offering yourself for president?
Thank you for that question. Well, first of all, to me, the Tobago Youth Council is, as Delano said, an umbrella organization. And know that it being an umbrella organization, you are not responsible, or you work side by side with other youth organizations throughout the island of Tobago. For me, I'm a big fan of development, especially sustainable development. And I believe that sustainable development begins from on the grassroots level. So as we begin with the youths now, we work our way up. So to me, the Tobago Youth Council is very important, because this organization now gives us the opportunity to grab hold of a new generation and give them the developmental factors they would require going forward. So these are the basic how to put it, the grassroots level in which we can move forward in order to create a more sustainable and a more developmental island.
Okay, great area. And viewers, for those of you who joined us on Facebook, just don't be afraid to drop a little comment saying it's giving president. If you like what you're hearing, don't be afraid to comment it's giving president. Now we're going to have to stick a pin right here, and we're going to head over to a short commercial. Don't go anywhere. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
drop down there with a lot of pretty girls down there, down in Tobago.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Live more. Hear this. Something telling me Joe, something telling me where, something telling me this is the end. I can feel the spirit, it calling me, the spirit calling me, it calling me. Start to jump around if you feel the spirit, it calling me, the spirit calling me.
So when you're virtual, anything can happen. So we're still experiencing some technical difficulties with Delano on his end. So as we await his return, Darian, you know, in your introduction, you would have told us a bit of who you are. But somebody told me that you actually have an alias called DJ Darian. So tell us more about that.
Well, DJ Darian actually began through the walls of Bishop's High School in about fourth form. That's when the time virtual DJ was really hot on the ground. We didn't have funds to buy Serato or mixers as yet, so we had to keep it virtual, simple, free crack online. So what we would have done was, well, I would have practiced, well, I would have been practicing through virtual DJ and started downloading music online through LimeWire. 1,001 viruses, but we wasn't studying that back then. And then from there, I started practicing, and I was listening to radio. And every time I hear a song, I would go and look for it on YouTube, download it. And then from there, I continued and continued and continued. And well, I actually took a break from DJing, but through DJing, I would have built a vast network of meeting a lot of entertainers, both locally, regionally, and internationally. I'd have played in places like Barbados, I'd have played in Jamaica, I went to Antigua, and through my networks, I would have realized something as simple as DJing gave me the opportunity to meet persons on such an international level as well as a regional level. And by increasing my network, I, in return, increase my net worth.
That's great, Darian, and it's really great that we are hearing the passion behind your work. So, and you would have touched so much on networking. So it only brings me to ask, why do you think it's important for us as young people to really invest in networking?
To me, I believe that, as I said, your network is your net worth. So a lot of persons, when you go out there and you're shy, sometimes it's better to interact with persons because you never know what doors these people might open for you. So, for example, I remember the first time we actually interacted was for the Caribbean Youth Leaders Summit. and we had a ball.
Yes,
And
yes,
to
yes.
that day, we have memories that we can take down the road, right? And now every time I see you, I'll think in the back of my head, yeah, the water.
It's
The
great.
water.
And we have so much of them from CYLS just tuning in on the live right now. So, I had to big up the up top bosses one time. Thank you for joining. They are all here, Darian. And it's really interesting how, we were just in that space and now we are here. And who knows where we gonna meet in the future, Darian. So tell us more about your youth work. When it comes to youth work, what does your track record look like in youth work?
All right. So at first, I never really wanted to be on the forefront, and that's something I continuously do. I'm quote unquote shy when being on the forefront. I rather do all of the background work.
Okay.
Now, when I was the Milner Hall chairperson, we did a variety of events that would have contributed to some homes that we would have been partnering with. So one of the best experiences I had was when we actually did a bazaar. So you remember the primary school bazaar that you would have gone to where you have brand, tub, and ring, toss, and all of these things. So we did it on a university level. And a vast majority of the proceeds went back to the charities that we would have been partnering with. Now, apart from that, when I moved on to the president of the postgraduate students and the Guild of Students, what we realized is that it's a more formal environment. Now, we had to advocate for thousands of postgraduate students as well as undergraduate students across all of the campuses. And anybody that goes to university knows that you feel very voiceless sometimes, especially when dealing with administration. Sometimes you walk into an examination, and when you scan your ID, they say you have a random hole on your account and you're unable to do the examination. So we'd have been working alongside administration to ensure that all students have some sort of accessibility to exams. Additionally to that, through my capacity as vice president in the Tobago Youth Council, we'd have done relief drives for St. Vincent when they were suffering from the volcano. We have done food hampers through the COVID period because our tenure began while the country was on lockdown. In addition to that, we gave out food vouchers as we partnered with Digicel to a lot of persons who would have also been affected by the economic downturn that is COVID-19.
So what about Tobago, in the Tobago space? Are there any contributions you would have made, more specifically in Tobago?
Vast majority of them were in Tobago, so the food drives. We did HIV awareness testing right here in the Port Mall. And well, now I'm one of the coaches in the Lambo Youth Academy.
Okay,
so
great.
Every Saturday morning, we go out there 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock. We take that hot sun and we give back. So we actually want to add more days now. So that's going to be Saturday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So
okay, great, Liren. And we're still awaiting Delano to join us because I was just ready to start the heat and start the whole body of this entire discourse. So I don't think we're getting any word from Delano as yet. He's still experiencing some technical difficulties. So we're still going to wait for Delano to probably join back. I don't know what happened to him down in Trinidad. You see why you mustn't leave your yard. You must stay in sweet, sweet Tobago, Delano. So we're going to wait for him to come back. So, Darian, what are your thoughts? What are your initial thoughts for this entire presidential campaign?
To me, what I really want to do is actually provide opportunities for younger persons to develop themselves and harness skills that can carry them throughout life. I personally believe that if you give a man a fish, he'd only eat for a day. Now, if you teach a man to fish, he would have a wider variety of fish in which he can eat throughout a lifetime. So personally, what I believe is that through the Youth Council, what we can do now is provide opportunities for persons who are shy or those who don't know their true potential to tap into themselves and realize what is their true potential and go forward in life.
All right, great. Thank you, Darian. So while we still await Delano to join us back, we're going to head over to another quick break. And hopefully after that break, Delano can join us and we could start the fire. So remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. And we'll be right back after this commercial.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if your nice can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry, if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
If you see or know about a crime, report a crime safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. You can play your part safely and anonymously. Report a crime. Earn a reward. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. Be a hero. Champion. Fearless citizen. Be a crime stopper safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime.
Mamai Lakai Home Services. We specialize in cleaning of carpets and rugs, mattresses, living room and dining room sets, vehicle detailing, cleaning and sanitizing of homes and commercial spaces. We also do landscaping and tree cutting, pressure and power washing, floor care, fumigating and air purifying. You can also call us for professional painting services, babysitting and adult sitting. Call us now 333-4430 at Mamai Lakai Home Services. We take cleaning to another level. The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Welcome back, viewers, to It's Giving President. Now, we are still experiencing some difficulties with Delano. So, Darian, fortunately and unfortunately, it's just you and I for now. And, you know, I have to pose the questions to you, and I will try my best not to go hard on you while you're responding. Can you handle that?
I'll try my best.
Okay. All right. So, I'm urging the Master Control to check their WhatsApp. I would have sent an interesting text there. So, Darian, youth participation in Tobago. You know, sadly, we live in a climate today where the youth leaders, or the ones that are posting themselves as youth leaders, you know, they are not well received by the public, and more specifically, the youths. You know, factors such as being pretentious, power-hungry, disrespectful in daily interactions with people, that oftentimes results in the general public not, as we say in local terms, not taking them on. If voted President, Darian, what are some strategies you would execute to trump the stigma around youth leaders and revive youth participation in the Tobago space?
All right, that's a very detailed question. What I would do is actually try to reach people on a level. I always believe you speak to people on a level in which they can understand, as well as you can understand what they are saying. I personally don't believe I'm better than anybody. So if it's academically, I always believe I can learn something from you. Technically, I can always learn something from you. So that's why I always take my time and listen to understand what those around me are saying. So while we understand some youth leaders, they may speak down to people, but sometimes they're not aware of what they're doing. So to me, I always try to ensure that I am very humble when approaching persons, especially those that you're not familiar with. So what I try my best to do is always reach them on a level in which we can hold our meds, you know, we can sit down, we can talk, we can vibe. And that way you always have a better understanding of how persons are actually feeling. Because sometimes if you come with a formal approach, they may hold back or reserve themselves. But if you approach them in a manner in which they are comfortable, or in one which they can understand exactly what you're saying without having to think too hard, then we can always have the best method of communication going forward.
What about those youths, the youths that are on the opposite side of the law? You know, those who are on the block and those types of youth. What strategies will you implement to include them in the youth space?
Okay, now that's a very touchy topic because sometimes we can't change everyone, but we can always make the effort to. So what we can do is provide opportunities for them to do better. So for example, those who might be too idle and always lying on the block, let's say we find some vocational skills for them to participate in. Simple as plumbing, simple as being an electrician, simple as mechanic, straightening. These are skills that society is now looking at, and what we used to once then frown upon, we are now looking towards these skills because people are buying cars more. So every day a mechanic is always in need. So to me, if we provide opportunities for them to deviate from loitering or wasting time and put in what they can do to the best of their abilities forward, then from then and there, we as a community now can go forward with them. Because, for example, Luke, if you own a plumbing, if you're a plumber, right, and you see there's this one youth strain, why not pull him in and have him shadow you? You know, he doesn't have much subjects. He might be a little rough around the edges, but with the right guidance, he can then come out and, okay, he can be a plumber. And then he will start making an income and you start seeing life through a different perspective opposed to having to go and rob and thief. So I believe we as a community, we must come forward and take them one by one and at least try to help as much as we possibly can instead of just looking at them and say, I fed up, I hear, yes, or turn your back to them. So simple things like that, reaching out to them and, like I said, speaking to them on their level for them to understand and then showing them the options in a better way forward.
Understood, Darren. Understood, Darren. Understood. So, viewers and listeners, I'm getting some nudge on my shoulders that we may or may not be having someone joining us in soon. May or may not. So, we're gonna wait on that. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait on that, Darren. So, when you well, if you are voted as president, what are some of the first things you would like to implement as president?
Okay, one of the first things I would like to do as president is actually hear the thoughts and ideas of my committee. So while we do that now, we'll then expand and hear the thoughts and the ideas of the membership, the external membership of the Tobago Youth Council. And then from there, develop a strategic plan of measurable goals that we can actually attain throughout our 2-year tenure.
Okay, great. So viewers, as we anticipate the surprise and someone else joining, we're going to head over to another quick commercial, but don't go anywhere yet. Things are getting heated. So I'm going to urge you all to share the live. I'm going to be right back after this. It's Giving President. I just can't be asking him a bunch of questions.
Powered by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement, and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Exhales Powered by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
How it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and look. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. look up below, 'cause this is your show. More, live more.
Welcome back. It's definitely giving president. Now, viewers joining us virtually via audio, we have Miss Alia Hola, one of the presidential candidates that weren't able to join us earlier, but thankfully she's on locked in. Alia, are you hearing me?
Hi, good night. Yeah,
Good night, Alia. How are you feeling?
I'm fine.
Okay, great, great. So, Alia, it's really great that you could join us tonight. And I want to start by asking you a question I asked earlier, and that is, what does the Tobago Youth Council mean to you? And what was the driving force that got you to offer yourself as president?
Okay, so firstly, as it pertains to offering myself for the presidency, I have always been someone to do youth work on the ground with or with a title, without or with a title. Sorry. Um, I started doing youth work in 2019 regionally, but I would have done youth work before that through Scarborough Secondary School by being a part of the youth assembly and stuff like that. Also in 2019, I founded my organization, Youth Elevating Youth. So youth work is nothing unfamiliar to me. The Tobago Youth Council, however, is known as the umbrella organization for all organizations across the island of Tobago. And as such, I saw the opportunity to go there and be president or lady vice president to lend my service and my skills and my talent to the people of Tobago and by extension the region. Being a part of the Tobago Youth Council allows for more networking, and I would have heard earlier that you asked Darian about networking as it pertains to the Tobago Council and what I think would be good and stuff like that. I just believe that it helps other organizations form networks on the island and brings them together, and also it allows for us to create stronger partnerships so that we could go ahead with the youth work on the island as one instead as a separated force.
Thank you very much, Alia. So, Alia, if you are voted into president, what will be some of the first strategies you would like to execute in your capacity as president?
Okay, so I didn't. I'm gonna just read my plans that I have. I didn't broadcast them across social as yet. So I have renew I have to strengthen regional and international partnerships. Networking is key to any organization as it allows for both advancement and growth. As such, connecting with the neighboring NYCs allows for more youth participation and engagement, of which I am champion supporter of. Also, I have opportunities for all, creating a safe space where young people from all walks of life can reach their fullest potential through the development of their skills and talents. Also, to strengthen local ties. In order for an organization to excel, there must be the love and unity within. And as president or lady vice president, I will ensure that my executive is welcoming to the member organization, which allows for smooth communication, transparency, effectiveness, and efficiency. And last but not least, I will renegotiate the subventions that we need within the TYC. As an NGO with responsibility for all youth organizations on the island, it is paramount that adequate funding is allocated to the organization from the government. This is to aid the TYC in fulfilling its mandate, which is to prepare Tobago's youth for the world. So those are four of the stuff that I plan to do as president or as lady vice president. And if not elected as any, I will see that my member organization, which is the Roxville Poetry Club, the strongest poetry club on the island, push for these stuff to happen within the TYC as it is needed.
Yeah. And Darian, how do you feel about your fellow candidates' plans? Is there anything you want to add? Anything you disagree with? Anything you agree with?
I agree with everything she's saying. It's realistic, it's measurable, it's everything is attainable. The only thing I would add is providing more workshops or more opportunities for younger persons to develop or harness their skills. So resume writing workshops, CV writing workshops, because realize unemployment is a big factor across the youths in Tobago. And not only unemployment, underemployment as well, because a lot of persons have degrees, but they're not working within the capacity of their degree. So you may have a degree and you're probably working in the gas station, you're working in a clothes shop, or some of things like this. But to me, what I would actually like to do, just the only addition, is facilitate workshops that would encourage persons to, or at least facilitate employment throughout the island, as well as to increase the level of employment in which they have. So probably encouraging persons to start their own business, showing them how to start their own business. So a lot of persons with technical skills, they may not have the ability or want to sit and read through a business plan, or as well as to sign up or register their business. So we may every Saturday provide a workshop that would assist or facilitate the signing up or the registering of your business.
Okay, great. Alia, anything you want to add to Darian's response before we move
No,
on to
I
the next question?
actually find that we real agreeing on this real nice. I liking it. Cute.
It's great. So next question, you, Darian. As president, if you are voted as president and you are given the opportunity to collaborate with the Secretary for Youth Development and Sport, how will you use that opportunity? And for our viewers and listeners who don't know, please let them know who the Secretary for Youth Development is and how you will collaborate with him or her in that capacity.
Okay, thank you very much.
I think it's youth development, community development, something around that line. I don't know yet. You have to help us.
Thank you very much. But actually, the TYC would fall under the portfolio of Mr. Wayne Clark, who is directly responsible for youth development and sport. And we have been partnering with them before, previous and the current personnel for youth development and sport throughout the island. What we did at the beginning of our tenure, we established a relationship with youth development primarily to ensure that all the programs in which we wanted to execute were able to do so. So in our inauguration, we actually partnered up with them at the start of the tenure to ensure that we can do these activities. In addition to that, we realized that partnering with them to attain an office space was something very important. That is something we are currently working on, because the TYC's office is currently located at Fairfield Complex, and more than likely we may have to relocate. So we'd have been working with them to try to attain an office space. So partnering with youth development and sport is nothing new to us, and it's something that we should strengthen going forward. But as it stands with Mr. Wayne Clark, we have a good relationship currently. And going forward, well, he lives in my village as well, so sometimes I can't get him on the phone, I could walk out the road and go and reach him. So currently, the partnership that we have is a great one. However, we just need to finalize some more formalities going forward. And these are things that, if elected, I would like to actually build upon, because I'm already familiar with what we would have had before. So I understand how to strengthen them going forward.
Great. Alia, if you are voted into president and you are given the opportunity to collaborate with the Minister for Youth Development and National Service, how will you use that opportunity? And for our viewers and listeners who don't know who the minister is, please let them know who that minister is, and how will you capitalize on that collaboration?
I know the minister, and I remember any name right now. I know it's a he. Anyways, so partnering with the Ministry of Youth is quite similar to partnering with
interrupt you, Alia, but the minister is the Honorable Foster Cummins, who is responsible, right? Right. So,
So I have met Mr. Cummins already, the Honorable Minister. He is someone that is for anything youth. within having conversations with Minister Cummins, he would have said to us on different occasions that he would like to see youth flourish regionally outside of Trinidad and Tobago. So whereas there are NYCs outside of Trinidad and Tobago, whereas Tobago has a TYC and Trinidad has a TYC as well, we have to collaborate collectively as one NYC when it comes to national issues. So, in that being said, I will relate to the current president, Shane John, which is my close friend of the TYC in Trinidad, and come up with not necessarily conferences, but something in the mirroring of a CYLS, not like the one that does in Tobago, a proper CYLS, where we take not you that are always doing stuff, but those who are now being exposed to stuff and send them out in the region, ask for them to leave Trinidad and Tobago, get the opportunities that they need, and come back and devote the culture here. I would like to do that because too much of our talent is being used outside, and there are a lot of stuff to be developed here in the country. And I think that it would be a good goal for youth on the island, and it would encourage more youth to get into fields which they are quote unquote scared of getting into.
Okay, great, Alia. Darian, you agree with the responses?
Say that again.
Do you agree with Alia's responses she would have just stated? How do you feel about that?
I agree, and I also, well, I wouldn't say disagree, but it's just that to me, the TYC in Trinidad, the space is different to that of Tobago, and I believe that each TYC has their own unique values in which they can carry forward. Now, doing ventures with them may be great for networking, but however, I'm not sure how feasible these things may be in terms of financing and stuff like that, because we realize financing is a big problem as it relates to a lot of NGOs. So that's the only thing I would look at, how best we can attain finances. But in terms of the ideas, I am for them.
We are for them. Okay, great. Great. I understand. Now, Alia, we would have posed a question earlier before you joined, and it was focused around youth participation. So the question starts as, sadly, we live in a society and a climate where the youth leaders we have, or the ones that are presenting themselves as youth leaders, are not well received by the public, and more specifically youths. Factors such as, pretentiousness, power hungry, disrespectful with people in their interactions. This results in the general public, more specifically the youths, not, in our local terms, not taking them on. If voted president, what are some strategies you would execute to trump the stigma around youth leaders and revive youth participation in the Tobago space?
There's been a rift in the youth space for a long while, and a lot of youth leaders would have tried to come together and deal with it. I think that the issue starts at the head, which is with the persons in government, because a lot of times the favoritism is posted upon, and I'm going to be very frank and blunt here. If someone who is a youth leader is a PNM or a PDP, the person in power, which is PNM or PDP, will gravitate to their political side. The youth leader on the other hand, so we have a PNM in power and a PNM youth leader. That's the PNM person that gets through. The youth leader on the other hand has to find their way to get through on their own. And that's how it has been going for years. What I will say is that it continues to happen, and what we can try to do, which we have been trying to do, is allow for the youth leaders to see that we are one body and we are all youth, and we are the now generation, and we are the persons that have to implement stuff now. So if we don't come together now, the generations after us obviously would not come together. So I would not try to do the old workshops and all these stuff which don't reach out to you, because we are so fed up of workshops and all these things. What I will try to do, however, is have monthly meetings with the youth on the island and ask them what they want from us as leaders, and not push on them what we want to happen for the island, because once you learn what the public want and you get to doing what they want, you will have a better connectivity and communication with them, and that will foster greater development for going forward. So I
All
will do
right,
that.
thank you very much, Alia. Darian, anything you would like to add?
Not at this point.
Okay, great, great, great. Okay, so viewers, I want to remind you of the tagline that is, it's giving president. So feel free to drop it in the comments if you like what you're hearing. Just let everyone know that it's giving president. Now, Darian, as president, if you are voted as well, we have to do the hypothetical, as president, Do you think that, if you are given that title, is it going to go to your head? How are you going to handle the title of president of TYC?
That's one thing about me. I'm very humble.
Mhm.
And as I would have said before, I don't like being on the forefront. I like doing the background work.
Mhm.
And within this position or within this capacity, now I now understand that I have to be at the forefront. However, I don't believe that I would have ever, in any point in my life, allowed power to go to my head. I would have experienced being a captain when I would have played football before. That didn't go to my head. I would have been the vice president of the Tobago Youth Council. That didn't go to my head. So I believe that no matter where I stand, I always believe that I can reach persons on the various levels in which they want to be reached or what is most comfortable to them. So even with or without a title, I believe that I still have the ability to implement change as well as development throughout the island of Tobago.
Great. Alia, what about you? If given the title of TYC president, how would you handle that power, that title? Ali, I don't think we're hearing you.
Oh, I was asking for you to repeat the entirety of the question.
All right. So if you are voted as president, a female president specifically, if you are voted as a female president, because, in politics in general, there is this stigma around women in politics. We hear seminars about it, we hear TED Talks about it. Women in politics is always a touchy topic. But if you are given the title of TYC president, how would you handle the title and the power that you will get from the title of TYC president?
So, the last TYC president or the current TYC president is from my policy club, which have trained us young women to be forces to be reckoned with, and we are. And Johnny was indeed a force to be reckoned with, and indeed I will continue that mantle. However, being a woman in politics or in leadership on a whole, it creates a rift for us to want to do better than men because they say that women are emotional beings. Um, Once elected as president, I will one keep my promises, which are the plans that I have, which are networking, to renegotiate subventions, to allow for the youth to have regional communication, to allow for the member organizations to communicate effectively and for them to create a better bond so that TYC can have a stronghold. Um, yeah, I think that and going on the ground, go at grassroots level, allow for the youth to speak up before we speak here and not make decisions without them, allow for them to be involved, allow for my team to feel as though democracy is held. Don't be an autocratic leader where I just make decisions on my own and because I don't like a decision brought to the table, it won't go like that. Allow for stuff to happen without me and allow for my team to get things done and I do the finishing touches or I come together with them and say, okay, yes, this is happening. And if someone in the table brings us across a better idea and I don't see the vision, I allow for them to execute the vision, say what it is going to happen, and hope that everything support them in the long run because I don't know how long I will be there for. So I will commit to my team, allow for my team to get things done, and keep my promises. Teamwork makes you dream.
Excellent, Ali. I love, love, love that response. And staying on you now, as a youth leader, what is one issue you think that should be gravely addressed at the moment in Tobago? what is one issue in the Tobago space, in the youth Tobago space, you think needs to be addressed immediately?
So everybody is going to say employment. Personally, I would say employment, but on the entrepreneurship part of it. We have all these seminars where we teach young people how to become entrepreneurs. We give them the training for months and weeks. Finance has a very, very great program that they teach young people how to be entrepreneurs and give them stuff for week. But these they give them funding and everything. The downside of that is that they don't check up on them. So what I would say is that we have a lot of young people on the island with talents. We as Tobagonians don't encourage our own. And I think that we have been hearing it time and time again that we need to start encouraging our own and let our own excel. And I think that that is something that I will try to push because there are a lot of grassroots, what we call grassroots young people that have talent and just are home. They want to do anything with it because they don't fit the criteria. So I think that we need to take away the criteria and support anyone with a dream because at the end of the day, if you have a dream, you have a passion, you have a goal, you can go for it. It doesn't matter. One step forward is greater than one step back. So I will stick to grassroots and allow for them to go forward and help them with their goals and allow for entrepreneurship to excel on a different level.
Great. Darian, before we give your response, anything you want to add, subtract? The floor is yours.
No, I will just provide my response. But if you could just quickly repeat the question for me one more time.
Okay. The question is, what is one issue in the Tobago space, one issue in the youth space in Tobago that you think needs to be addressed immediately as a youth leader, from your perspective as a youth leader?
All right. So as cliche as it may sound, I would have said before unemployment. We see a lot of young persons are actually applying for jobs and they're not receiving any callbacks. So a lot of these things are discouraging them from actually applying for jobs. So one of the other things we realize as well is that, okay, you applied for a job, you never got a call back, so you're now unaware if you were successful or not, or if to continue. In addition to that, what we realize is that a lot of young persons, they don't have the time or they allow anybody to really check over their CV as well as their resume. And a lot of persons working in HR actually know that simple things like a simple spelling error or the title of your CV or just how you write up the envelope in which you submit can deter or take away your opportunity from you. So for unemployment, what I believe we can do is provide, as I said before, workshops that would actually facilitate them in at least attaining the basic criteria, the basic requirements to at least get one foot inside of the door. So for example, persons with vocational skills as well, they may not have the academic or they want to sit and read through a 4-page registries to register their business. So what we would do from there is at least aid and assist them in registering their business, as well as simple things as public speaking, simple things as how to carry about yourself while you own a business, how to dress, how to interact with customers. So I don't believe that unemployment is really the problem that we really have to tackle, but it's more so lack of opportunities for young entrepreneurs to get themselves out there in the most professional manner and sustainable manner possible.
Okay, great, Darian, great, Darian. Alia, do you agree with what Darian would have just stated? Alia, are you hearing me?
Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I said I agree.
Okay, great. And Alia, if you are voted, we have to continue with the hypothetical questions. What are some ways you think we can make the Tobago Youth Council a more attractive and known in the Caribbean for our youths? What will you implement with the organization to really help with that attraction?
So I will create a space for everyone. So I will be inclusive in terms of there is a stigma in Trinidad and Tobago where we are so not fond of the LGBTQ community, and there are persons on the island that are part of such, friends that are part of such, and who want to do youth work but stay away from it. So I will be inclusive in that all the opportunities created with the Tobago Youth Council is for everyone. It isn't for just male and female by birth, but it is for who is identified as she or her, or he or him. It is for everyone. So I will create spaces as such for that. As it pertains to regionally, the other youth councils across the Caribbean, that they have on the Tobago or Trinidad Youth Council is funding and a greater connectivity and communication within their team. I specifically paid attention to Barbados and St. Lucia Youth Councils. When they came to Tobago, they carried one head. They spoke about stuff, and it doesn't matter who disagrees on the team. It's about Barbados or St. Lucia on the end of it. They make decisions as a whole. So I will ensure that my executive, we make decisions together, and it isn't that Alia says something and then the other person goes and votes against it. That makes us look indecisive. So on the playing field, we are one. I will make, even if we are not one at home, on the playing field, we go out and we get it as one and create spaces for persons of all walks of life, be inclusive. I will ensure that that happens.
Great, Ali. Now, viewers, as we continue the It's Giving President segment, we're going to head over to a short commercial, and then we will be answering one more question, then heading over to the bonus round, and we're going to wrap things up lovely. So remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. Things are about to get heated.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice car get damaged bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard, I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tattle will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tattle, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Welcome back to It's Giving President. Now, viewers, to continue, we're going to start off with a question from Collis Hazel. Now, Mr. Hazel, he is the leader. He is the leader of the Roxborough Police Youth Club. So, Darren, I'm going to pose this question to you. His question is, how will these candidates see themselves in returning to their representative group to support any initiatives? And those of you who would like to contribute on the live, you can send in your questions. And if your Wi-Fi is up to date, it will pop up on my iPad and I will read it out for you. So, Darren, once again, the question is, how will these candidates see themselves in returning to their representative group to support any initiatives? And then I will pose the question to Alia.
Thank you for that question, Mr. Hazel. Throughout my tenure as the vice president, I actually came from the Mount St. George Police Youth Club, right? And most of the initiatives we did, we would have ensured and partnered with them. So even when we did one of the food drives, we actually went and we cooked food and we would have distributed within Mount St. George and environs. Most of the hampers that we would have given away, sometimes we liaise with our various clubs to ensure that we don't have anyone left out. So we actually reach out to the membership organizations first before we go externally. So we always ask them first to ensure that we don't miss anyone or that everyone is included. And then from there, we start seeking to help those externally as well. Now, when I say we brace our clubs first, it doesn't mean that it's persons within the clubs, but persons who are within the club that may know of persons that are actually in need, to ensure that it doesn't sound or seem biased, just for clarification. So I actually do a lot of stuff with the Mount St. George Police Youth Club throughout the capacity of the Vice President of the Tobago Youth Council.
Okay, great. Alia, are you with us? Okay, you hearing me? I can't hear you, Alia.
Yeah.
Right, great. So we have a question on the live, and this is from Mr. Kendall Vincent. Interesting. And his question is, how can we move forward with bitterness and hate and the inability to forgive? I think he's referring to the youth space.
It's interesting who the question comes from. However, as it pertains to bitterness within the youth space, right? You look, why are you laughing?
It's a joke I remember from yesterday. You continue.
Right. As it pertains to bitterness within the youth space, I always say that as a youth leader or a leader on a whole, you would learn that you listen to the people or your members firstly. So, with that being said, you be a leader that is democratic, is inclusive for the people and not for yourself. You choose your members over anything. You choose their happiness, ensure that they are comfortable over everything. You apologize when necessary, even though you believe that you are right. You apologize first. You make your apologies really sincere. You decide to have conversations with people. You don't allow issues to linger. Have conversations, move forward, get things done. If there's an issue that you cannot deal with at the forefront and your executive is not available, you apologize and you tell the persons who have the issue that we will deal with that on a later basis. But you must first apologize for such, as you are the head and the responsibility will fall on you, although it may be not your fault or not, but persons will need to know that. So going forward, we forgive, apologize, and we do checkups on those apologies. We find out if persons are okay, if they need anything else done, and that will create better relationships going forward. Remember to apologize, be sincere, and listen. Hope that answers this question.
Great, Alia. And we have another question. I'm going to pose this one to you, Darren. So the question is, there is a feeling that there is little to no care for the Tobago Youth Council by the youth population because it is an umbrella body comprising of organizations and thus cannot truly depict or reflect the feelings of Tobago's youth. Is this true? And if so, what steps will you as president take to correct this? If you want me to repeat the question, I will do so.
Just repeat it one more time.
Okay, so the question is, there is a feeling that there is little to no care for the Tobago Youth Council by the youth population because it is an umbrella body comprising of organizations and thus cannot truly depict, or reflect the feelings of Tobago's youth. Is that true? And if so, what steps will you as president take to correct this?
Okay, I would have to agree and disagree. Throughout my tenure, we would have realized not much persons pay that much attention to the Tobago Youth Council because they don't directly fall within the executive. However, persons would pay more attention to their membership organizations, so the Charlottesville Police Youth Club, the Roxborough Police Youth Club, the Signal Hill Police Youth Club, and so on and so forth. So what I believe the Tobago Youth Council can do is develop stronger relationships with these membership organizations by ensuring that the leaders hear the voices of all those that are on the ground and then repeat these or echo these sentiments to us so we can then therefore go forward and represent them. However, I don't believe that we are the only level of representation for the youths of Tobago, because the Charlottesville Police Youth Club can be an organization that is taking the mantle and doing much more work than the Tobago Youth Council within their space or within their capacity. So while persons may believe that the Tobago Youth Council is not doing much or whatever the case may be, it's just that a lot of persons are more focused or directed towards their membership because that's where they would have begun their journey, or that's where they feel most connected to. So the most that I can do as president or within my capacity is try to reach out to more membership organizations and ensure that we have that level of intimacy or that level of connection that we can feel comfortable enough to share sentiments with each other across the board.
Okay, great. So viewers and listeners, this ends the question. I think we'll get back to the question, but at this moment we have some participation from our senior citizens. And we have questions coming in from Miss Marjorie Wilson. She is 73 years old, and she would have texted asking that she wants to know how well these presidential candidates know their country, and would have sent in some questions. So the first question, well, Darren just answered, so I'm going to pose this to Alia. The first question is, in what year did Trinidad and Tobago become a republic? And how was you as a youth leader, despite us, getting republic from Commonwealth, how come you as a youth leader still hold that cohesive relationship with the Caribbean islands? This is from Marjorie Wilson, 73 years old.
What was the latter part of the question? The first part is what year we became a republic, and
yes, we would have learned that in
we
primary
a republic
school. And now she
August
wants to
1st,
know
1976.
1976. And now she wants to know how can you as a youth leader still keep that cohesive relationship with other Caribbean islands? This is from Marjorie Sylvester, not Sylvester, Wilson.
Okay, so that's quite an easy question for me. I already have relationships with the NYCs. I am friends with the presidents of various NYCs already. Before conferences and everything, we have been friends, and we speak about youth work in their countries, and we are already on committees, and we are already planning different initiatives within their countries to broadcast around the Caribbean. So I will continue doing such, continue networking with the other NYCs. Also, aside from networking, I think networking covers everything. But aside from networking, I will ensure that what Tobago offers is at the greatest level and could surpass the levels of other Caribbean countries. So, in terms of, I will ensure that if there is a women's program here, it could also be offered in Barbados, or it could also be offered in St. Lucia, but under the banner of Tobago Youth Council being the founding organization to start it, and the other organization, we send a rep whenever throughout the year it happens in their country. We send a rep there to give a speech, and we have this as our mantle project for the Caribbean.
Alia, so how will you build a network with the NYC? because this question is really interesting for you because we were just at CYLS and we would have seen the nice relationships you would have built with the other Caribbean islands. So how will you, if voted as president, how will you build a network with the NYC?
So once voted in as president, I will have the other NYC's presidential contacts. So I will try, if not once a year or twice a year, to have meetings with all the other NYCs, excuse me, and find projects that we can collaborate on within the Caribbean. Projects that cater for Trinidad and Tobago and also caters for their country as well. I wouldn't choose a project that only does what's best for their country and only has TYC as a written collaborator on the program. I would choose something that benefits Tobagonians and Trinidadians and as well benefits their country.
Okay, great. Excellent response, by the way, Alia. It's giving president. Darian, your question is: in what year was the first cabinet formed and by who? I don't know this. This is probably something I learned in UE. In what year was the first cabinet formed and under who was it formed?
I'm gonna make a very educated guess.
Uh-huh.
I would believe it's under Dr. Eric Williams, and the year would be 1952, if I'm not mistaken. You can
Okay.
correct me if I'm wrong.
I'll have to Google the response, but the person replied saying that you are correct. You are correct. Wow, so all presidential candidates actually know our current affairs. I am shocked. It's given president on both parts. On both parts. Wow. Wow. This is really excellent. Alia, your other question is, I'm waiting for the person to stop typing. Right. So the question is, how are members of the Senate appointed under the advice of whom? The mic off, Alia. Yeah, my mic is on. Ali, are you hearing us? I don't think I'm hearing her. Darian, what about you?
Just repeat the question for me.
Okay, members of the Senate, under the advice of whom are they, recommended and who are they appointed by? So, members of the Senate are appointed by whom and under the advice of who?
They are appointed by the Prime Minister under the advice. No, sorry, they are under the advice of the Prime Minister, but appointed by the President.
Wow, I think yes, that's correct. Oh, it's giving president. It's giving president. It's giving president. So we're gonna go back to our questions because honestly, these current affairs things it's really interesting and it really shows us who really has what it takes to really be president because they need to know what's going on in our country. Our senior citizens always stress on that you must know your current affairs regardless of your age. So we have a question from Jamon Madden, and his question is: one of Tobago's main problem now is a dying/no private sector. What strategies can be used to help youths to build this sector in Tobago? Ali, are you with us? You want me to repeat the question?
Hello?
Yeah, you want me to repeat the
You
question?
hear me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, thanks.
All right, so this question is from Jamon Madden, and he's asking, he said, one of Tobago's main problem now is that a dying/no private sector. What strategies can be used to help youths to build this sector in Tobago?
There are a lot of opportunities for youth on the island that we don't tap into. So, firstly, youth needs to stop complaining that stuff is dying. I really hate to hear that we say stuff is dying. Um, if you want something, you will go for it. And at the end of the day, there are a lot of opportunities presented by the Tobago House of Assembly that allows for you to get into the private sector. So you y'all could research these things and get into these things and stop allowing us to say that the culture is dying or the private sector is dying or that these things are dying. If someone wants something, they will go for it. And I'm getting really passionate here because I don't like the term to be used as something is dying. We need to get up and go, get up and get. If And I would say it again, if you want something, you will go for it. So my answer to the question is that tap into the opportunities that are already here. We have the biggest opportunity that we have as young people is technology. We were born in the 21st century, and technology is the fastest thing for us to make money. So if you want to be a part of the private sector and allow for it to not die, you will tap into the resources that are allocated to you, and you will tap in further if you want something to flourish. Youths oftentimes sit and wait for handouts, and we need to get out of that mentality where something must be given to us. The government doesn't owe youth anything, they are here to help us. You as a youth need to get up and get up and say that I'm going to have this done. It is to better my future and for the generation behind me. So if you want to develop the private sector, tap into the opportunities that are given by the Division of Finance, the Division of Youth, the Ministry of Youth, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of National Security. There are so many opportunities, but we sit here and wait for them to be given to us. We need to get up and reach for the opportunities and build out the private sector and not allow for it to die.
Okay, great. Darian, anything you would like to add?
Um, I don't want to seem controversial, but to me, she said there are a lot of opportunities available for youth out here. And now that may be true. But the thing that I realize is that while we have these opportunities out there and they are accessible, they are not accessible to the target group that really needs them. So, for example, she said that we were born in the 21st century and technology is a big part of it. But what about those who don't have access to Wi-Fi? What about those who not tech savvy? What about those who grew up with their grandparents and they weren't really allowed to watch TV or see or have access to the internet? So a lot of these things, while they are available, it's primarily there and it more advances those who already, quote unquote, have to an extent. So I believe that we need to ensure that these opportunities are more accessible to all in order for us to start developing the private sector, because what we grew up as a culture in Tobago knowing is, all right, you go to school, you get education, you work with the THA. That's because it's a source of security, social security, financial security. So in order for us to establish the private sector, what we now have to do is tap into our youth and give them the opportunities and ensure that these opportunities are not only accessible to them, but ensure that they are accessible to all. So those who don't have Wi-Fi, we have to find a way or a means to help them sign up the forms. Those who aren't fully literate, help them to sign up the forms. What about those who have don't have the academic capabilities to sit down and read and fully comprehend what is really taking place in front of them? Who is going to be there with them to help them sign up these forms to register their business to become a part of the private sector? So these are things we have to look at, and these are things that we have to tap into, and ensuring that the things are not just accessible for youth, but they are accessible to all, especially the target groups that are really, really, really in need of that social resilience at this point in time.
Okay, great. So Darian and Alia, we have reached the end of this discourse. And I just want to end with one final question. And that question is, what are the last words you would like to give to our viewers and listeners, encouraging them on why you are the best choice for president of the Tobago Youth Council? So we're going to start with Alia and then we're going to end with Darian.
My last comment is that teamwork makes the dream work. Allow for inclusivity, listen to the people, allow for the grassroots to speak up, allow for greater community ties to happen so that the Tobago Youth Council can be strengthened and networking can be easily done. allow for democracy to pass, and not because if once elected, not because that I am a female, you will believe that I am emotional at making decisions. Believe that it's a man at the head still, and the work can be done at the same capability. So yeah.
Darian?
My final comments would just be to ensure that you remember that your network is your net worth. You need to understand that having a title is just one thing, but in order to be impactful is something you have to really want. So whether I am or I'm not the president, that still doesn't mean I'm going to turn my back on the Tobago Youth Council if they ask me for advice for something. And to me, I just believe that if more persons in society believe or understand that you don't need a title to be impactful, then we as a society can go forward. So I just want everyone to go out there, network as much as possible. And these are the ways in which you can open doors for yourself. So just, it's not really about me right now, but it's more about the youth of Tobago. And I really just want to share this bit of advice with them. So thank you for having me, and good night, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Darian and Alia, for joining us tonight on this presidential discourse. Now, viewers, our tagline for tonight is It's Giving President. For those of you just joining us, you can just watch the rerun. Feel free to screen record, pick out, post your best responses with, It's Giving President. The responses you weren't too confident in, you can still post it saying, it never gave presidents. Tonight is all about our presidential candidates and most importantly, you, our viewers, and some of the voters that were inside this live. So I just want to thank you all. I just want to thank you all so much for joining us tonight on It's Giving President. I am your host, Luke Trim, and thank you once again. So remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.